What makes an anime good? Is it compelling plot points that drive the series in ways that captures the hearts of many and throws the audience into a world like no other? Is it beautiful animation and character progression that holds the viewer's attention while giving them someone or something to relate to? Or is it two girls mud wrestling in a rice field while their fellow classmates commentate on the meaning of what it means to like titties or be an ass man? Truth be told, I have no idea, as this shit is ass in the most beautiful ways possible. Watching No-Rin was an interesting experience for me. Not because I thought the anime was good in the sense of all the qualities I mentioned before, but because I somehow managed to dig through a pile of shit and somehow found a fucking diamond. Crazy, I know. Due to this anime being pretty, obscure, that's what we'll call it, I honestly had no idea it existed before hearing of it. That was until a good friend of mine and fellow content creator McThotty, link in the description by the way, go check him out, opened my eyes as though my lack of recognition of the anime's existence was a war crime that could only put Hitler's actions in the early 1900s on hush mode. I remember him being really excited to show the anime to me, so much so that we hopped in a call that very night and watched a few episodes together. And let me tell you, shit was crazy. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking ecchi. We're talking societal crimes. We're talking farming. I don't know, something like that. And it's all within the first 3 episodes of the anime. Now, I don't know about you guys, but that's one hell of an introduction if you ask me. I remember laughing my ass off in my first watch around, and being able to just meme it with a friend just made the experience that much better, honestly. Dude's best friends literally walked in his room and saw. The anime is centered around this guy named Hata Kosaku, which in a quirky and wacky turn of events also means farming or tillage in Japanese, which is interesting because the anime is about farming, and that is why I have opted to mention this little detail, because it directly relates to the thing that is most often done in the anime. What? Wait a fucking minute. Who the fuck wrote these lines? Hey, intern! Get the fuck in here!
What's the matter? Boss, I heard yelling. What's all the commotion?
Who the fuck wrote these lines? It's too long to read.
Oh, that was me. You said you wanted more detailed script for the next video, so I wrote every little detail of the joke so the audience just wouldn't miss it, boss.
You fucking... What the fuck do I pay you for, dude?
You don't pay me, boss. For my last payday, you just gave me a Ziploc bag of animal crackers.
Well, you liked them, didn't you?
Boss, I'm literally allergic to animal crackers.
Why, never you unappreciative fucking bitch. As I was saying before, the show revolves around Kosaku and his obsession with the idol Yukatan, who in the later half of the first episode is revealed to be the new transfer student at his school. If you've seen literally any Christmas Hallmark movie ever, then the concept of this show is going to be nothing new to you. A big city idol girl moves to the rural countryside where she meets a mentally ill otaku who owns a literal kangaroo. Pretty standard stuff. Now, for those of you who have not seen this anime, I think I should just go ahead and warn you that this isn't a show you should watch if you want a serious anime rom-com experience. Words cannot even begin to express how cucked I felt at the end of this show, for reasons that I will not spoil to those of you who might take an interest in the anime. Just know it's bad. Shitty endings aside though, I believe this anime has something going for it that not many like it do, and that is just how damn enjoyable the anime is to watch. I don't know how, but this anime is seemingly built from pure, unhinged chaos, to the likes at which I've hardly ever seen in any Japanese media. No-Rin's plot is a lot like a web diagram that just doesn't seem to have any legitimate connection to the event before it whatsoever, swamping the entire page and leaving the audience with a fucking abstract painting that they're expected to just make meaning of. I mean, it honestly just feels like the production team just gathered around a round table with a top hat in the middle and blindly drew an idea from the hat for every episode. Let's see here. It says, for this episode, we're going to introduce the 4th deity of agriculture, and she'll convince the main cast to start a booming egg business using an animated lolly as the selling point. Huh. Fuck it, let's ball. As a result of these kinds of recurring situations, it's in my most humble opinion that the most charming thing this series has is its comedy. If you've been lingering around in the community for a while, consuming your fair share of Japanese anime and media, you probably understand that oftentimes anime comedy, or Japanese comedy in general, can be pretty hit or miss to a foreign audience. Case in point, horny teenage boys decide on their school field trip that they want to go take a peek at the girls' bath. Only haha, guess what? They get caught and usually get off with a small slap on the wrist. Or a broken nose, depending on what kind of heroin it is. Make no mistake, when I was first getting into anime, that shit was revolutionary. Some might even say hilarious. As I encountered it time and time again though, you can imagine the effect began to wear off, and thus, I had to find comedy in other aspects of anime, like alcohol abuse and sex. My main point here is that comedy in anime is very subjective, and over time you'll find yourself taking these once comedic aspects of anime and just assimilating it into the culture in general due to how often it's used. In cases like No-Rin and many other sort of hidden anime out there though, the jokes and situations used are something that break the cycle and give the audience something new and refreshing to laugh at. Be it Kei rocking up in probably one of the most egregious swimsuits I've ever laid eyes on, or Kosaku switching to a funny English-speaking accent for comedic effect. There are just so many jokes and comedic qualities represented through the characters that just put a smile on your face. It's one of those cases where the plot isn't so much why you're watching, but rather for the characters themselves and where they'll take things, and I can appreciate that sort of character-driven progression. I feel like oftentimes we all fall into this sort of mindset where we're constantly trying to define what a good anime is, purely based off the quality of animation, how compelling the plot is, or if there's a suffocating amount of character development spread across the series. And while I definitely think those qualities of an anime make the show stand out and enjoyable to watch, I also believe the same thing can be achieved with simplicity sometimes. Additionally, and I know this might be a hot take to handle, ladies and gentlemen, so buckle the fuck up because we're going into a danger zone. You can also just like what you like, therefore making a particular anime good within your own standards of viewing. It's this beautiful little concept called subjectivity, and it's one that, in my opinion, is not often recognized in the community. Like, at all. Go to almost any anime thread or comment section online and you will see what I mean. I double dog dare you. Going back to all those fancy qualities I mentioned before, I think it's safe to say that No-Rin is by no means a good series. The animation itself is pretty mid, and the characters have some pretty bullshit motivations and backstories that could honestly be given to any farmer working in the Japanese countryside. Regardless, the time I spent with those very characters as the audience has been some of the best laughs I've had throughout my years of anime experience, and I love the series for that fact alone. That said, anime in my opinion doesn't always have to be this highbrow experience where we as the audience have to dig through loads of development to find a deeper meaning. I love being able to pick out key details about an anime's animation or plot, but I don't always have the mental strength to dig through assloads of HoloLive lore to figure out why the dog wants to peg the cat. Occasionally, I just need to sit down and watch an anime where I can laugh at dick jokes, because for one, that's pretty much my humor summed up entirely anyway, but also because it doesn't take too much thought to process. That said, I think shows like No-Rin help create a perfect balance within anime as a whole. I think it's nice to just be able to turn your brain off sometimes and laugh at stupid shit, be it by yourself or with some good friends. If you want a really good comedy anime, there are a lot out there, but few do it like No-Rin. It's a show that, while the surface may look bland, deep below there was a lot of love put into the series through the different references and styles used throughout the anime. It was a hella fun watch, and I'm very glad my friend Moog shared it with me. Who would have known I'd eventually go on to review it after all this time? That's honestly pretty crazy to me. That said, I hope you guys did enjoy this take on the show and are maybe even thinking of giving the anime a try yourself so you can see what I mean. If you've seen it, or maybe I convinced you to give it a go, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Bars! Thanks for watching guys, and I'll hopefully see you in the next vid. Itterashai!